All right, we're back for part 2, and now we have this more complicated equation. There are 3 fractions here. In order to solve this easily, we want to get rid of all the fractions. You could, if you wanted, change the fractions to decimals and work with decimals, but decimals are kind of tough to work with also. And so I think that's your best option, is just to get rid of the fractions. So when I'm looking for my least common denominator, my denominators, if I look, are 4 and 8, right? Those are the only 2 denominators. And so I need to think, what is my least common denominator, or the least common multiple with 4 and 8? Well, that is 8 for this case. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. So that means my least common denominator is 8. And so that's what I'm going to multiply this entire problem by. I'm going to multiply the entire problem by 8. So doing kind of like my humongous distributive property, I'm going to do 3/4 times 8, and 2 times 8, and 1/8 times 8, and 2/4 times 8. Now this is already a group. So if I multiply the number in front of this parentheses by 8, it does the whole thing. So I'm not going to do the x and the 3 because they're in a group. I just multiply the number on the outside. So now I have to do some multiplying here with fractions. So 3/4 times 8 is my first math problem. 3/4 times 8, to make it a fraction, we put it over 1. You can just do top times top over bottom times bottom. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4. And 24 divided by 4 is 6. And so that means this part becomes a 6x. 2 times 8 is 16. Now I do the next one, 1/8 times 8. We put it over 1. This is my scrap paper. 8 over 8 is the same as 1. So this becomes a 1x. One more fraction. 2/4 times 8. We put it over 1. 2 times 8 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And so this 2/4 becomes a 4 when I multiply by 8. And then the x plus 3 just stays. So I have cleared the denominator. There are no more fractions. And then I go ahead and I solve this equation as I have before. There is no subtraction to get rid of, but I can distribute and simplify. If this side, there's nothing to do. 6x plus 16, I can just copy down. But the right side, I have some simplifying. I have a group, and so I have to start by distributing. 1x just stays. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I combine my like terms. 1 times 4 is 5x plus 12. So now I have simplified each side. I can't combine a 6x and a 16, and I can't combine the 5x and the 12. So my third step is to get all the variables on one side. I can either move the 5x over here and group all the x's to the left, or I can take the 6x and put it over here. I always move the smaller one. Again, I'm grouping all the x's together, so I'm going to line up the x's. I'm left with 12 on the right, and 6x minus 5x is 1x. My next step then is to get rid of the constant and the coefficient. Because I got all my x's on this side, I need to move the numbers over. So I'm going to take away 16 from both sides. I'm left with 1x is equal to -4 when I subtract 12 minus 16. And then I can divide by 1, and my answer is -4. So when you're solving equations with fractions, it's the same work. You're going to do all of the same steps, except before we can start getting rid of subtraction, we first need to get rid of the fractions. And again, to get rid of the fractions, you multiply by the least common denominator. You get rid of the fractions by multiplying every part by the least common denominator. Thank you.